All right, let's jump right in. When you think about protecting your startup's big idea, you're probably thinking about competitors. But what if the biggest threat isn't someone else, but the messy data hiding in your own files? Today, we're going to talk about why keeping your patent data clean isn't just some boring chore. It's actually the foundation that holds up your entire company.
And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. We're not talking about some small typo that gets fixed later. We're talking about the core of trust and control. A single mistake, one wrong flag, can make an investor look you in the eye and wonder if you even own your own technology. That's the kind of doubt that can kill a funding round, right there.
So I have to ask you, are you really sure your IP is as locked down as you think? Because these tiny, hidden errors in your patent data can quietly sabotage everything you've worked for. They're like these little time bombs you don't even know are ticking until it's way too late. Okay, so let's talk about that foundation. As a founder, you're focused on the product, the team, the funding, the exciting stuff. But all of that is built on top of your IP. And if the data holding that IP together is a mess, then your whole foundation is shaky, it's fragile, and it might just crumble when you need it most. And this is where it gets really concrete. We're not talking about some abstract legal theory. I mean, something as simple as a typo in your company's name on a form, or forgetting to update a record after you've changed the company's legal name. That one tiny error can literally create a crack in your chain of ownership, making it a nightmare to prove you actually own your invention. So you've got this shaky foundation. What does that actually mean day to day? Well, we're not just talking about messy paperwork. These little mistakes create real-world problems. They create friction that just slows everything down. They create doubt with people who have the money, and they can even cause your patent to fail silently. So how exactly does this hurt you? Well, it really breaks down into three big problems. First, it just slows you down. Every time your lawyer has to spend an hour hunting down a document, that's time and money you're losing. Second, it erodes trust. An investor who can't see a crystal clear line of ownership just sees risk, and that scares them off. And finally, the most terrifying one, silent failures. You miss a critical deadline because of a wrong status flag, and poof, your patent is considered abandoned, gone, and you might not even know it happened. All right, I know this can sound like a huge headache, but the good news is the solution is actually pretty focused. You don't need to be a patent attorney. There are really just three specific areas where these expensive mistakes tend to happen. If you can get these three right, believe me, you are 90% of the way there. That's it, just three. The whole problem really boils down to three critical points of failure. So let's break them down one by one so you know exactly what to look for. First on the list, assignee data. The easiest way to think about this, it's the deed to your house. It is the official black and white paper trail that proves your company owns the invention, not the person who came up with it. If this data is messy, then who owns the idea is suddenly a huge, expensive question mark. Next up is status data. The source material calls this a living map. And honestly, that's the perfect way to describe it. It tells you exactly where your patent is on its journey. Is a response due? Is a fee payment coming up? A wrong status is like having a GPS that's actively trying to drive you off a cliff. It's how you miss those critical, irreversible deadlines. And third, we have the priority chain. This is basically the story of your invention's birthday, that all-important earliest filing date. This is the backbone of your patent. It's what secures your spot in line ahead of any competitors. A clean chain is absolutely crucial for making your rights as strong as possible, especially if you ever plan to go global. And when you put it all side by side like this, the difference is it's night and day. With clean data, your ownership is clear and undisputed. You're always ahead of your deadlines, and your protection is rock solid across borders. With messy data, ownership is a mess, you're gambling with silent abandonment, and your global rights could literally shrink or just vanish. The choice is pretty obvious, right? So the big question is, how do you get from messy to clean? Well, it's not about trying to become a legal expert overnight. It's about something much simpler. Turning data hygiene into a powerful habit that just becomes part of how your company operates. And here are three simple but totally non-negotiable habits. 1. Record changes the second they happen. Your company changes its legal name, update your patent records that same day. 2. Get assignments signed immediately. The day an invention is written down, get that assignment signed. Don't put it on a to-do list for next week. And 3. Make sure your records match. The official files at the patent office have to be a perfect mirror of what you have internally. No excuses, no discrepancies.
You see, when you start doing this consistently, something really powerful happens. You stop playing defense all the time, fixing errors, putting out fires, and instead, patent management turns into a strategic asset. It becomes a tool that actually helps you build value and move faster.
And that brings us to the ultimate payoff. Because this isn't just about avoiding problems. This is about building a real competitive advantage. Clean data makes your IP stronger, tougher, and a whole lot harder for anyone else to come after.
So what do you get for all this discipline? For one, you get smaller legal bills because your lawyers aren't billing you to clean up messes. You get investors who fly through due diligence with confidence. You get to grow fast without your IP portfolio turning into chaos. And maybe the best part, you force your competitors to challenge you on the quality of your idea, not on some sloppy paperwork.
At the end of the day, there are really only two paths for your portfolio. It's all laid out right here. One path is full of high costs, investor doubt, and slow growth. The other is a path of confidence, speed, and a strong competitive position. And the only thing separating them is the discipline of clean data.
So I'll just leave you with this one last thought. Every single document, every date, every entry in your patent files tells a story to investors, to partners, to competitors. The question is, what story is yours telling right now? Is it a story of chaos and risk, or is it a story of discipline, control, and strength?